New Japan Pro Wrestling's WrestleKingdom 12 is literally going to happen this morning. When I say this morning, the upcoming morning, or night, or wherever you are in the world. Check out local listings for that. And of course, you can do that with New Japan World, which is only 9.99 yen, which, depending where you are, might be cheaper, might be a little more, or might just be close enough to that actual price. It just depends where you are. Just like the network for WWE. It's when I say that as far as pricing is concerned. I am not comparing the networks at all. I am not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying as far as the price goes, it's pretty much the same price for say 99.99. It'd be the equivalent of 99 for the WWE network in Japan, but the conversion rates, again, times, everything's different basically. And of course, you have a lot of vintage footage from New Japan in that as well, which is also great. I guess I'm just gonna go how this card is from the bottom to the top here, just because I don't know this how the card is actually going to be, but it looks pretty legit regardless. And a lot of these are multi-man matches, so. And also, if I butcher names, I apologize in advance. Especially with one name I know, depending which side of the world you are. And I stress the R slightly in that it depends how you pronounce this man's name. But we'll worry about that in a second. First off, the pre-show match is the New Japan Rumble. A Rumble that has been going on, basically the pre-show for past Wrestle Kingdoms. And, we don't really know who's going to be in it. We don't really know. It's not like the traditional Rumble, however. I don't want to say Aztec Warfare rules. Basically, that's what it is. You can be eliminated by pinfall submission or of course, being thrown over the top rope with both feet being hitting the floor, much like the Royal Rumble. Except, of course, submissions and pinfalls also apply. So basically, no mercy rules. If you've played No Mercy for the S64, basically those kind of rules do apply for that Rumble. Except you can't be eliminated by somehow hitting your person over the middle rope and hitting them over, making them hit the floor. You have to literally throw them over, so you can't do the bullshit way of eliminating people. Nonetheless, I can't really predict it because we don't know who's in the match. But, in the past, we've seen people like legends like the Great Kabuki, even in this match. Kabuki has actually been in a several of these Rumbles, so he's kind of a recurring character there. But, I don't know. And of course, there's the ROH people that might make it in that aren't going to be a part of the show. And I do not believe the ROH World Title is on the card. But that doesn't mean we might not have a few surprises. But you never know. So again, it's going to be a great Rumble. I don't know who's in it, again, so I can't really speculate, but, I mean, hell, we did have a former NWO member and a former IWGP World Champion in that Rumble last year. I'm not going to say who, because I don't want to spoil it for people who have not seen that moment, which was fucking awesome. But, again, the Rumble is a fun thing. On to the main card, as we have a tag match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. And just for those, again, this is not directed toward the hardcore New Japan fan, but for the people that aren't as familiar, this may be their first show because of a very special match, which we'll get to later on. The IWGP basically is the NWA of New Japan. If I could simplify that for the casual wrestling fan. The IWGP is basically the governing body of New Japan, and has been for several decades, which why I stress the NWA of New Japan, because those belts are exclusively to New Japan, although some of them have been in Inoki's promotion, which led to Kurt Angle holding it, a version of the IWGP title, which was on TNA for a little while, until he unified the belts, I believe, with Nakamura? I think it was And plus, some of those belts have been on TNA and other shows in the past, let alone some of them being unified in somewhat of a J Crown, if you will. But we'll get to those later on. But again, just to stress for those people who are the casual fan because of a special match with an Alpha and an Omega, the IWGP is basically the NWA of New Japan. So anyway, it's for the junior heavyweight tag titles, which also, I should stress, that there's weight limits. So there's a junior heavyweight division and a heavyweight division, and there's an openweight division, which we'll get to in a little bit. The junior heavyweights basically are the cruiserweights. Again, and I don't like simplifying this, but again, there are casual fans that are going to watch the show because of the Jericho Omega match. It's that simple. But again, junior heavyweight tag titles, and there's also heavyweight tag titles as well as junior heavyweight title and a heavyweight title. But we'll get to those later on. The champions, which I'm very surprised about, Roppongi 3K. Sho and Yo, in Ring of Honor, they were known as the Tempura Boys. But I guess now they are a part of Roppongi Vice. I don't remember that. And I'm sorry if I don't remember things. Of course, they were on Excursion. They were fucking Tempura Boys. And what was it? Okay, so they won the Super Junior Tag Tournament. Okay. So that makes sense. That makes more sense. And then they, of course, won the titles. Yeah. So, because the team they're facing, I thought were the champions. So, I guess not. So, again, Sho and Yo, the Tempura Boys, Roppongi 3K, whatever you want to call them, will face the Young Bucks, Mac and Nick Jackson, for the titles. This is very tough because, on one hand, the Young Bucks just deserve to be tag champions, and they're honestly, they have been the Randy Savage of these titles. They've held them and made them what they are, honestly, as well as the regular tag titles. But that's, as far as these are concerned, the Young Bucks have been these titles for the past couple of years. In fact, these titles have been exclusively the Young Bucks and Roppongi Vice for several years. It's not even a joke. It's actually what has happened. But, oh well. I'm not going to complain about it. When they won, this does kind of concern what I'm going to say next. Because they did win the titles. Actually, they won the titles when they were the champions. Okay, so that makes more sense. But, I don't know. Because on one hand, Sho and Yo, they need to retain them just because they are the champions. I honestly don't know how long they've held them, but you cannot bet against the Young Bucks, so I'm going to pick the Young Bucks. But I won't be surprised if Sho and Yo win that. And with that, we'll just cut here, go to the next part.